Today, we're diving into Dr. Joseph Murphy's incredible work, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. We're going to explore how this hidden, powerful part of you really holds the key to pretty much everything: your success, your health, your happiness. So let's get right into it. Have you ever really stopped and thought about these questions? I mean, why do some people just seem to breeze through life, getting everything they want, while others just can't seem to catch a break? Why can one person bounce back from a terrible illness while someone else can't? Well, according to Dr. Murphy, the answer isn't about luck or what's happening around you. The answer is inside your own head. You see, the whole secret comes down to this. You have two minds. You've got the conscious mind, the one you're using to listen to me right now, but then there's the subconscious. And just look at that power dynamic. It's not even a fair fight. So many of us are trying to run our entire lives using just that tiny 10%. So to really get a handle on this, we've got to break down these two different worlds inside your mind. We'll look at how they work, how they talk to each other, and this is the most important part: how you can finally get them working together to build the life you actually want. Okay, so think of your conscious mind as the captain of a ship. It's the logical part of you. It's looking around, seeing things, hearing things. It's analyzing and making choices all day long. It's what you use to decide what to eat for lunch. But for all that work it does, it's operating with some pretty limited horsepower. And then you have the subconscious. This is the silent giant that's running the entire show in the background. It keeps your heart beating, your lungs breathing. You don't have to think about any of it. It's this massive database of every memory and emotion you've ever had. And here's the kicker. It doesn't argue. It doesn't reason. It just accepts whatever you tell it as truth. Now, this leads to a huge mental flip. See, most of us think our outer world, our job, our money, our relationships, is what controls our inner world of thoughts and feelings. But people who get this stuff understand it's the complete opposite. Your inner world, your habitual thoughts and beliefs, that's the cause. Everything you see around you, that's just the effect. And to make this concept totally unforgettable, Dr. Murphy uses this brilliant analogy. Honestly, it's probably the best way to understand the relationship between your two minds. So picture this. Your conscious mind is the captain, standing on the bridge, shouting out orders. Your subconscious mind is the massive, powerful crew down in the engine room. They can't see the ocean, they don't ask about the destination, they just take the captain's commands and push the engines to full power. They will literally steer the ship straight into an iceberg if that's the order you give them. Here's another way to think about it. Your subconscious is like a plot of rich, fertile garden soil. It has no preference. It doesn't care if you plant a seed for a beautiful rose or a seed for a poisonous weed. It will grow either one with exactly the same energy. And your thoughts, your everyday habitual thoughts, those are the seeds. So, what have you been planting lately? Okay, so this all sounds fantastic, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we stop planting weeds and start programming our subconscious to get the results we really want? Let's get into the practical how-to stuff. It pretty much boils down to this ancient three-step formula that you see everywhere for a reason. First, you have to ask, and that means getting crystal clear on what you actually want. Vague goals get vague results. Second, you have to believe. And this isn't just wishful thinking. It's about generating the feeling of what it's like to already have it. And finally, you receive. You have to let go, detach from the outcome, and allow it to come to you. Now here's a little secret, a pro tip, if you will. The absolute best time to plant those seeds is in that fuzzy, drowsy, relaxed state right before you fall asleep. Why? Because your conscious mind, that skeptical gatekeeper, is starting to clock out for the night. The door to the subconscious is wide open, and it's incredibly suggestible. So here is a super practical routine you can try tonight. First, record your desire, your goal, in your own voice on your phone. Then, as you're lying in bed, take some deep breaths and just relax. Play the recording back, and as you listen, visualize the end result. See it, but more importantly, feel it. Feel the joy, the relief, the excitement as if it's happening right now, and just drift off to sleep with that feeling. So, does this stuff really work? I mean, it sounds a little out there, right? Well, the book is packed with some absolutely unbelievable stories of people who used these exact principles to get results that seem, well, miraculous. Let's look at a couple. Take this case of a singer. She was incredibly talented, but she was just crippled by stage fright. Logically, her conscious mind knew she was good, but her subconscious was running an old program of fear. So she started to reprogram it. Night after night, she'd quietly affirm to herself, I sing beautifully. I am calm and confident. She lived in that feeling. And what happened? She went to her next competition, performed flawlessly, and took home first prize. But for a story that will really just blow your mind, we have to talk about Morris Goodman. This guy's story is so wild that he literally became known as the Miracle Man. So Goodman was in a horrific plane crash. He had a crushed spine, a destroyed diaphragm, over 100 broken bones. He couldn't even breathe on his own. The doctors looked at his case and were all in agreement. If he lived, he'd be a vegetable for the rest of his life. Period. But Morris Goodman, the captain of his own ship, he refused that diagnosis. He gave his subconscious one and only one command. For 8 straight months, lying there completely paralyzed, he held a single, powerful image in his mind. He saw himself totally healed, walking out of that hospital on Christmas Day. And that's exactly what happened. Against all medical science, against all logic, on Christmas Day, Morris Goodman stood up on his own 2 feet and walked out of the hospital. That is the kind of power we are talking about when the subconscious is given a clear, unwavering command. So these stories are incredible, right? But the real point here is how you can apply this stuff to start designing your future. So let's look at some practical tips and one of the biggest mistakes people make. This is a big one. This is where so many people trip up. They create a war inside their own mind. If you're broke and you start telling yourself, I am a millionaire, your conscious mind just starts screaming, no, you're not. Look at your bank account. That conflict cancels out the order. A way better approach is to use something that feels believable, something that builds momentum. Something like, day by day, I am advancing and becoming wealthier. See the difference? Your mind can accept that. Dr. Murphy also lays out a simple 3-step blueprint for real, lasting success. First, you've got to find work that you absolutely love. Second, you can't just be okay at it. You have to specialize, become a total expert in your field. And third, and this is the real secret sauce, your work can't just be for you. It has to serve humanity in some way. True success is always tied to serving others. Ultimately, if you could boil this whole philosophy down to one single idea, it would be this. We spend so much of our time looking outside of ourselves for answers, for power, for solutions. But the whole treasure chest, the infinite intelligence that can create anything you want, has been right there inside of you the entire time. So, the main takeaway here is simple. You are the captain. Your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, those are the orders you are giving every single second of every day. You've just been handed the instruction manual for the most powerful creative machine in the universe. The only question left is, where are you going to command it to go?